Hey, good afternoon. Got a couple items for you today. We had quite an eventful day. Seeking Alpha released our MATR site pick to triple, and we had some unexpected news out of the Apple announcement, and that is, of course, Matt Margolis pick. I'll touch on that very briefly. We had an interesting comment in the forum. For those of you who haven't been to the members forum, highly recommended. Good banter going on. We have some great participants. We have Luca here, who's been providing some great charts for everybody. And one of our members, here we go, mentioned a lack of liquidity for MATR site. And I provided a comment to that, which you can go to the site and see. But the gist of it was, and there's a lot more to it than what I'm going to give you here, so please go to the members forum and check it out. But the gist of it was that these stocks do start out illiquid, okay? And if you look at the volume here, before I made it a poised to triple pick, there's virtually no volume in the stock. Okay, and we could see the same thing in HiMax. If you look at HiMax the day before and the year before I picked it to triple, there was no volume on the stock. So people would be concerned about that. And I've gotten this question for the past 20 years from customers. I give them an idea. They say, that's a great idea, but the volume's low. I'm worried about the liquidity. And my answer is always the same. You're not going to have to worry about that if the pick works. And sure enough, if you take the dollars, right, this was like roughly a $2 stock, and the volume, which was virtually non-existent here, okay, I can pull this up a bit. I mean, still non-existent no matter how much I pull it up. There was very little volume in the stock, probably $20,000 to $60,000 worth of shares per day. Of course, on the day that it tripled, you see here, we had upwards of 3 million shares of volume on a stock that was nearly $10. That's $30 million. We went from $60,000 of liquidity to $3 million worth of liquidity. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't have $3 million worth of Pixelworks stock. I look forward to the day when my average position is $3 million. We should not have a problem, especially if you're using the risk-reward charts from the methodology to get out, not necessarily trying to top tick this thing, but somewhere, anywhere in this circle was a brilliant exit, and you have the volume to do that with these multi-million share days. Okay, so similarly with MATR site, we actually have more volume here than we had with Pixelworks in the beginning, right? So we've got something to work with. And at these levels, I'm not worried about liquidity. I'm worried about fundamentals, okay? That's the work that I've done. And this is a perfect time. As I've stated plenty of times before, I don't like a stock unless most people either hate it or don't know about it, okay? I love skepticism. The skepticism that I see out there with regard to MATR site is a sign that it is undervalued. The day that everybody loves this stock is the day I'm selling every share, okay? The reason being is very clear. We go back to the Pixelworks stock, right? Everybody loved it here on the Apple announcement. What happened? It got crushed. Everybody loved it here as it reached triple territory. What happened? It gets crushed. That's what happens. And each of these peaks that you see, right, including the poised to triple peak here, comes on euphoria when everybody loves the stock. When do these buying opportunities come? When everybody hates the stock. Think back to, if you remember, when Pixelworks hit these low levels. How did you feel about the stock? You probably hated it. You probably convinced yourself that something was wrong. Mark Gomes must be wrong on this one. He was wrong on Delio or whatever. I'll be wrong on many stocks in my life, but you can't use that as an excuse. You can't create excuses for why a stock is at a low. There's only one reason why the stock's at a low, because nobody likes it. And if you join those people and not liking the stock, then you're just going with the crowd. And by definition, if you invest with the crowd, you will get the same returns as the crowd. And over time, the crowd gets roughly 6 or 7% a year. So you can choose to be a part of the crowd, or you can be a part of the folks that are doing the opposite of the crowd at lows and the opposite of the crowd at highs. All right. And we see that here with MATR. All right. Those of you, and I saw somebody in Seeking Alpha who's a PTT subscriber made a comment that they were able to get in right around here at 455. Brilliant. I love it. You kicked my butt. I own this stock at much higher levels, probably 550 or so, as I follow the methodology through this progression that I talked you through in our last video. You got in at 455. You're following the methodology even better than I am, and that's great. I'm working on it. I'll get better. The methodology is something to be followed, and this is proof positive, okay? Regardless of what happens today, tomorrow, the next day, this is a stock that I've researched. They're in great shape as far as I can tell. About 60% of the time I'm right and we triple our money or somewhere thereabouts, and about 40% of the time I'm wrong and we lose 20 or 30%. The average return on that is like 85%, okay? If you're going to get an average return of 85%, the best thing you can do is close your eyes, okay? If you're going to make excuses for why a stock is down, why you shouldn't buy it, the best thing you can do is close your eyes. And if you're not going to do that, the next best thing you can do is not be involved. Okay, it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your money. You really shouldn't be a PTT subscriber, and I don't mean that in a passive aggressive way. I mean that quite honestly. If you can't handle the ups and downs, then this method is not for you. There are other methods out there that I'm sure will work just as well for your particular needs. But this is the way it works. You only make money if you're buying at the lows, and you're only buying at the lows if you can refrain yourself from making excuses for why everybody hates the stock. It's never fun being the only person at the party, but that's the way you make money here. Okay? So, just a brief comment on GT. For those of you who get these alerts, I'm not going to show you the content here. The title is all I can provide. Matt provided a very good analysis of the situation. He and I spoke over the weekend prior to this announcement, and I gave him my 2 cents. He provides that in here, and we'll leave that at that. You can read that on your own. As far as the chart goes, brief comment here. I am a shareholder of the stock. I do know that we're sitting here near what is supposedly, the current risk-reward line, right? This is going to be an interesting situation for these guys. Because if you read Matt's article, you'll see where the fundamentals are at, and he stands by them, and I stand by Matt and those. And you have to assume that this line, which only has a slope of 6.3%, is going to have to change. I believe that the company did make some major changes back here. I was interested in the stock. Matt beat me to it. He picked the stock. Brilliant pick back here, right? Moving up. He knows this company better than most. He had a tough day. Everybody has a tough day. There hasn't been a Super Bowl champion that didn't have a loss along the way since 1972. Same thing goes in the stock market. Nobody goes undefeated. The point that we want to take away here is, what's the new slope going to be? This is a new company relative to what it was back here. Back here, they were a commodity supplier of sapphire, competing against other commodity suppliers of sapphire. Somewhere in here, they made some major investments, and just like most companies, when they're making investments, the stock got crushed, right? Very short-sighted on the part of investors to sell a stock off while they're setting themselves up for the future. And those who got in when everybody hated it have been rewarded. Those rewards should continue. And the question is, what's the new slope going to be? Okay, Matt knows better than I do how fast this company should grow over the next 3 to 5 years, and that's what should determine what the new fundamental slope will be. All right. In the meantime, people are going to be kind of fixated on these old lines, the 6.3% growth slope, and if the company continues to grow at 6.3% a year over the long haul, then these lines will hold up, and we're not going to see much upside from here. However, Matt and I both seem to be in agreement that there's a new slope that needs to be created here, and depending on what that angle is, that's what's going to determine. And this 200-day moving average might give us a clue. By the way, the long-term moving average usually gives us a long-term view of what the new slope should look like, or what the slope should look like. And people are going to have to wake up to that at some point. And GT just needs to go through some short-term growth pains to get through that. And again, I refer you back to Matt's coverage and Matt's article. He knows the stock better than I do. But keep these things in mind as you go through. There's no excuse for making excuses. All right? Nothing's different anytime. These risk-reward charts, they hold. All right? They hold water every single time. Boom, 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 boom. Tops, drop, 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 drop. Bottom, 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 bottom. Boom, 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 up, up, up. Okay? This is how it's done. You have to get control of your psychology. I actually have a psychologist that I go to specifically for this, to help me become a better trader, to overcome the emotions involved with this. It's called confirmation bias, right? When a stock goes down, you have the tendency to come up with facts that confirm that bias, that the stock should be down, that I should sell the stock, that I should ease my pain, the pain of losing money, and get out of the stock. Well, you should have eliminated the euphoria back here and sold the stock and taken advantage of everybody's pain over here when they're selling. Okay, this is what you need to learn to do. I'm no exception. Like I said, I'm seeing a professional to help me get through that. You can too, as can some of the members here. Luca seems to have Ice for Blood, has been providing some great commentary with regard to charts in the members forum. So please go there. And as I always say, through ups and downs, through thick and thin, PTT Research is here to teach you the lessons that have helped make Peter Lynch a legend and Warren Buffett a multi-billionaire. I'm teaching you the lessons that they taught me and millions of others out on the internet there. So stay with us, and we will stay with you and teach you those lessons. And who knows, maybe someday you will be a billionaire like Buffett too. Till next time, Mark Gomes saying, take care.